Hello and all, welcome to the Galaxy Man Show. I am here with my next guest of 2023 with this sensational artist known by the name of Kelley Hollis. So I'm about to add Kelley into the live now and have a chat with Kelley about her sensational music. So yeah, let's add Kelley in and have a chat with Kelley. Hello, Kelley.
Hey, Jacob, how are you?
Good, thank you. I just want to say first up, thank you so much for taking the time to join my show. It is such an incredible pleasure having you a part of the next guest for 2023. Uh, to people that don't know who you are, Kelley, if you can give like a real backstory about yourself, and then we'll dive right into the questions.
Sure. So, my name's Kelley Hollis. I am a classically trained soprano singer based in Boston, Massachusetts, in the United States. I sing a lot of new classical music, so I get to work with a lot of living classical composers. And I get to do a lot of world premieres, which is awesome. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Well, we'll dive right into the questions now. So, for my very first question, you've performed incredible covers, and for the first cover I'm going to mention is you performed a song called Alone Together. What was it like getting to perform this like cover song, and what does this cover song mean to you, like especially as an artist?
Sure. So Alone Together was actually written by my friend Oliver Kaplan. He's a composer, and I've gotten to perform a lot of his works, a lot of his vocal works. And he wrote this during the pandemic, like in 2020, kind of maybe spring, summer. I learned it maybe in like just a couple weeks before we did the concert, and the concert we did was basically broadcast just from like an empty studio, so no audience. And it was just kind of like it always, whenever I hear that, whenever I sing it again, it takes me back to that just wild time. And like Oliver wrote all the text for that himself, because it was just it was a time where we were all doing things that like we'd never done before, and we all like had to just make do with what we have. And so it's because of that, it's like one of my favorite pieces of his. And so I love that piece.
So, on to my very next question. So, you have also performed a cover song of Songs from Letters. What was it like performing this one, and what does this song mean to you, like especially as an artist?
Yeah, I love Songs from Letters. So Songs from Letters is a set of about 5 songs written by American composer Libby Larsen. She wrote it in 1988, which is the year I was born. And the text for the songs are taken from Calamity Jane. And if you don't know who Calamity Jane was, she was a famous cowgirl in the old American West. And the texts for these songs were things that she wrote about the time, about being a woman, about being a working woman in like the early 20th century, late 19th century, and from the perspective of a mother to her daughter. And so they're really fun. They're really evocative of just like that time period and that kind of vibe. And they were some of the first these were some of the first pieces by like a living female composer that I'd ever learned. I learned them back in grad school. And so since then I've got to perform them several times over the years. And each time it's like, they're some of my favorite ones to return to, because they're just, they're really fun. They tell a really cool story. They take you on a journey, and yeah, I love them.
So on to our very next question. So you have also performed a cover of I Will Protect You. What was it like performing this cover, and what does this song mean to you, like especially as an artist?
Hmm. Yeah, so that's this really beautiful lullaby that my friend Steven Serpa wrote. It's from a larger work called The Book of Ruth. It's a theatrical, like an oratorio, basically a musical work about a man's journey, a man who has HIV, and his journey sort of following that, and as he sort of is losing things throughout his life. And this is one of the pieces from that, and it's him remembering his mother and remembering just feeling protected and cared for. And so Stephen wrote these other songs that I also sing quite a bit, called Canciones de Desamor in Spanish. I just love his work, and this piece was included on a couple of recitals that I did with my friend Julia. And she is a mom, and she equally was like, loved it. And it was just, yeah, it's a beautiful piece just as a standalone, and then, outside of this bigger thing. So it's great to perform it.
So on to our very next question. So you have also performed an incredible iconic song from an incredible film franchise called Wizard of Oz, Over the Rainbow. What was it like getting to perform this song?
I love this song because, I think there's a finite amount of songs that really like everybody knows, and this is one of those that I think anybody who kind of, like, I would say most people know this song. And so anytime I can sing something that people know and that they have memories of and that they can even sing along with, I love, because everybody kind of has their own sort of special relationship with it. I've gotten to perform it at the end of, like, I usually do it at the end of recitals as like an encore. I did it for a special like broadcast recital like right at the start of the pandemic for a company that my friend works with. She hired me and my friend to perform for them via Zoom. Like, this was like, the first couple weeks of the shutdown. So it's really just like, I love the piece. I love that everyone knows it. I love that it means something to everyone, and it's great to be able to, share it.
That's our very next question. So what made you decide as a person and like especially as an artist to get into the whole singing process in the first place?
Yeah, I think a lot of I think I definitely, there was one teacher who really pulled me in. His name was Mr. Frederick, and he still teaches, and he's wonderful. And he really taught me to love music, and he taught me to find, confidence in performing music and just self-confidence. So that was kind of like my initial sort of like the first thing that kind of drew me in. But that, what has sort of sustained me over the years is different things, the relationships I've built, and just getting to collaborate with people, and like the challenge of doing something that no one's ever done before, or something that's just incredibly difficult, and like, that not a lot of people can do. And, you find like kind of different things that make it enjoyable to you over the years. So he definitely started it, but I've found, different things to love, and it just makes me happy. Now it's like if I'm having a bad day, and then I'll go sing, and I just like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. I feel so much lighter.
So onto that question. So what does performing music like mean to you, like especially as an artist?
hmm yeah, I mean, like I said, you just feel, you feel better, and you feel like you have a release, and you feel like you're just, I don't know, your body and your mind are kind of like in tune. And so it's a really wonderful feeling. And especially, I feel like it's really exciting the more people you can collaborate with, which is why I love like doing opera, because it involves so many people just doing so many things and making so many decisions. So I love that aspect. I love just kind of like the conversation and like working things out with other people. And, that's what I've missed the most during the pandemic. And now, like, as normal performing is returning, like being able to just like sing with an orchestra and sing with a conductor, it's just, it just feels so good. And it feels so great to be able to share it with people and provide like an outlet. Like I sing at a church every week, and I sing funerals, and to be able just to provide space for people to feel what they need to feel, like it's special. It feels great.
On to our very next question. So what has been your like all-time favorite cover song to perform and why?
My favorite song to perform, I mean, Over the Rainbow is probably up there. It's probably like one of the favorites, and like I try to include it when I can. I did a performance during the pandemic from home of music that was just a cappella, so no instruments, no backup, nothing. And there are these pieces called Ariel by Jonathan Dove, and it takes text from The Tempest, plays Shakespeare, and creates this kind of like little mini story with the text. And it was a weird time. It was a weird performance, but it felt empowering to do a scary, weird thing like that. So that's a favorite, along with yeah, Over the Rainbow.
So on to our very next question. So if you could work with any top three music artists in the music industry, who would you want to work with and why?
So the first one to come to mind is Beyonce, because I would just do anything for Beyonce. I think she's just, I love her. She, she's Queen Bee. Like, I'd do anything for her. In terms of other musicians, I really love, there's a classical pianist named Samantha Eggy. She's based in England. She's really talented, really beautiful interpreter of Florence Price's music. And so I'd love to collaborate with her. Perhaps maybe Jessie Montgomery. She's a really hot composer right now. I'd love to collaborate with her. Maybe Bjork. I mean, Bjork is iconic and just brilliant. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So on to our very next question. So if you could go anywhere in the world, take your music to any country, where would you want to take your music to and why?
I think probably like, New Zealand and Australia. I haven't ventured to that corner of the globe yet. And everyone I know who's been sort of to either country has just like had nothing bad to say. They're beautiful. It's beautiful, especially New Zealand. Like, I just love to visit, and I think it would be incredible. I'd love to see the opera house. I'd love to just like see all the plants and animals that are only there, you can't find anywhere. I think it'd just be amazing. So I would love to do that.
Sounds like our very next question. So what advice would you give to any up and coming artists that want to get into singing? And yeah, what advice would you give to people that want to get into singing?
I would say, keep your eyes on your own paper, in terms of like, don't worry about what other people are doing as artists. Like, I think we can maybe compare ourselves and like see how things are going with other folks. And I would just say keep focused on what you're doing. And then with singing, I think just find what you love and find the stories you love to tell. The more you can just sort of like bring yourself into any performing you do, the better it's going to be received. People want to get to know you. So don't be afraid to bring yourself and share yourself.
On to our very next question. So if now Kelley could talk to younger Kelley and give advice to younger Kelley, looking back over your career in the industry, what advice would you give to your younger self?
I'd probably just give her a hug, honestly. I would just like give her a hug and say, and just give her some love and just be like, it's okay, you're doing good, and kind of like what I said before, keep your eyes on your own paper and share yourself. Don't keep yourself from, bring as much of you to what you do as you can. And yeah, I just give her some love and some encouragement, I think. So.
So on to our very next question. So what are the positive and negative sides into the music industry, and how do you get through those like negative moments as an artist?
Yeah, I mean, it's very tough. Like, I think it's even just like making money. Like, I think it's a misconception. Like, most of us don't actually make money, like make our living from just singing. Like, we're either teaching, or we're running an opera company, or we're working at a bank. Like, we're all doing other things to support the music. So I think it's like, it's a negative that it's not really like you can't make it's really hard to make a living off of it. So that's a negative for sure. The positives are, in doing the thing and in singing and doing gigs, like you meet some of just like the best people in the world. You'll make some of like your best friends, and just you'll get to work with and collaborate with some of the best people and travel to some of like the craziest places. Like I've gotten to go to Oman to perform, and go to the Czech Republic to perform, and it's just like that's incredible, and I'm very lucky. But yeah, it can be hard for sure. But you just gotta find ways to love it. Yeah.
So on sort of a very last question. So what's next for you, Kelley? Like for 2023 onwards, what would you like to announce on the show?
Yeah, so January 21st, which is a Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am doing a concert with Juventus New Music Ensemble, and it'll be in Boston, but it'll be streaming live. So if people want to check it out on YouTube, it'll be streaming from Juventus Music's page, and that'll be a solo concert, just with me. All of the music I'm performing is by living composers. It's centered around the idea of healing and healing trauma and mental health, and just sort of like feeling better and coming back you know, from hard times and from a pandemic. So I hope people can tune in.
Well, I would love to ask, by the way, Kelley, if you have time, would you like to perform a little bit of a cappella or something?
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. Let's see. What will I sing? So how about I sing some, oh, What a Wonderful World. That's what I'll say. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright, blessed day, the dark, sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Yes, Kelley, wow. Beautiful, soulful voice. Love your voice, by the way.
Thank you.
Truly
Thank
amazing.
you.
No, you're very welcome.
Hey.
I just want to say thank you so much for appearing on my show for today. The next guest of 2023. It has been such a pleasure. Do you have like any last final thoughts that you'd like to share to people on the show?
Well, I'll just say you reminded me, you were posting on Instagram the other day, and you reminded me of a show that I haven't thought about in years, which is The
Okay.
Tribe, which
Yes.
is
Okay.
it really wasn't a big show in the US, but randomly there was like one channel that kind of showed it, and I would catch it like after school here and there, and I like loved it, but I could never find it anywhere. This was like pre-streaming. So you reminded me of it, and now it's streaming on, and I'm like binging all of it. So thank
Okay.
you for that.
Can I just suggest something to you, by the way?
Sure.
Meryl Cassie, who played Ebony in The Tribe, she actually does her own live Instagram shows and has artists like yourself join her live Instagram shows to promote themselves.
Oh,
Yeah, and she's a good friend and great person, and I can recommend Meryl Cassie inviting you onto her show if you want me to.
oh, cool.
And yeah,
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Very cool. Wow. Yeah.
awesome. Well, thank you again, Kelley. It's been such a pleasure. Stay safe and keeping the dream alive with you always.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and Happy New Year.
You too. See you, Kelley.
See ya. Bye.